How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to Muv-Luv Monday, and welcome to what should be the return. I got really sick, unfortunately, so we missed 2 videos last week, but I'm on the mend. I'm not 100%, but I'm close enough. My throat doesn't feel like it's about to concave into itself. I'm not hacking my lungs out anymore, so I think I'm okay to record. So, yeah, well, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be feeling better again. I hate it when I miss days, because normally I'm really on top of my schedule. I love being consistent, and I also really like making content, and so like skipping a few days, even if it is for a very good, legitimate reason, is still not something I'm super fond of. So yeah, I'm glad to be back. Thank you so much for being here. And I forgot the pressing we were leaving things at. So this is the culmination of some of the combating that we're going to be doing, but there's a lot of tension on 2 sides of the team. Last time they mentioned how apparently Phase 3 implementation might be made while we're waiting for like the final like comparative analysis day, so maybe there's some interesting changes coming to the Siranui second, which is really odd. Like I said last time, that's interesting that they would have had preparations for some other phase of adaptation that they weren't even considering up until now. And so I'm hoping we'll get some interesting reasons as to why. Like, is it the nature of the amendments? Are they just not practical for most applications? And so they were going for a general build first, and then if Stage 3 was going to be specialized builds for the Shiranui second, which would be pretty good to see, to be able to look at like, hey, it's not just a TSF, it's a customizable one. So based on because like if you think about a typical squad in like combat orientation is the squads of 4, and it's usually with 2 strikers and 2 kind of suppressors, you could say. I know there's practical terms for them, like they're escaping my thought right now, but I know you know what I'm talking about. But the idea that you could have each TSF not just have different kit, but also have different build outs that can customize not only to the style of combat that they specialize in, but also to the pilot. That really sounds cool. This idea of having almost like the difference between a TIE fighter and an X-Wing in Star Wars. The idea was that the TIE fighters were cheap, functional. They were effective in combat, but like they were designed to be production line. Each one's exactly the same. They all had good quality. They were highly efficient, and the idea was maximizing quantity with some quality. They were very good. Like, the show does a terrible job of displaying them, but they were deadly. They were dangerous. You saw how effective they could be, and the fact that they could swarm you was really terrifying. On the other hand, like in Star Wars lore, X-Wings were very expensive, very maintenance heavy, but they were powerful, they were self-sufficient, they could travel, and each one kind of became like its own kind of like the pilot and the ship became almost intrinsically bonded. They become this unit where it's not like you could just jump into somebody else's X-Wing and expect to fly it the same way. It would have its own tweaks and its personality. And TSFs already have that mentality with the build out of the suit and the interaction with like your piloting history, and how like you could jump in another TSF and it would link up and it would try and synchronize like your history and the way that you control your TSF with the new one. But there was always, hiccups and, not the misalignment. So they already have this kind of X-Wing status where you can't just hop from TSF to TSF and have them all be the same, so why not make them fully customizable and really make it your own experience? It's an interesting concept. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's jump right into it, because it looks like the Kriska-Inya stuff is getting really intense. Kriska got accosted by her, like, kind of clone, which it did imply that these are, like, essentially clones, that Kriska and this new lady are essentially genetically sisters. But she was a little super aggressive, which is great. So yeah, we'll have to see what some of this fallout is, hopefully. Alright, Inya, what do you got?
Phase 3強化モジュールの実装。それは君が言うように日本国内で行われる予定のものですよ。
So the Phase 3 was a Japan specific, maybe a secret program, an internal program. Ooh.
そしてそれこそが XFJ 計画本来の目的。いわば今ここで行われていることはすべてそのための布石に過ぎない。
それは重々承知しております。
いや、分かっていないよ。なぜそんな回りくどいことをしなければならないのか、 それを理解していない。ここでフェーズ3への回収などしてごらんなさい。瞬く間に XFJ 計画全体が取り潰しの浮き目を見ることになるんだよ。
That's implying some real skullduggery going on in the Japanese Empire, which is very interesting. Why would the Empire have to hide its own TSF special modification development? Now, make it be to go down in flames. Right off the bat, off the top of my head, it does make me think, what if they incorporate core elements of the Tekuma Kazuchi into the Shiranui Second? That would be almost considered a kind of blasphemy in the eyes of some of the more traditionalists of the Japanese, and especially in the higher ups. So that could be it. Like, what if a Shiranui Second's like clearly been modified with parts and influence from the Takuma Kazuchi, not just like, oh, like we like what they did and are kind of trying to emulate it, but more of like, this is literally like extra parts from the Takuma Kazuchi line that are being incorporated onto a Shiranui Second. And the idea of taking their like very specialized tech and marrying it to a very American tech line, and the implication of revealing those like very what's the jealously guarded like designs, systems, and building philosophy could be seen as almost like a heresy. Almost. Ooh. I wonder if that's what it is, or if there's something deeper to it than that.
だからこそ、その計画は関係者の中でも極秘扱い。このユーコンでは、私と君しか知らないことなんだ。
I just had another thought, actually. They're working with somebody secretly in the heart of Japan. There is someone we know who is highly motivated to be able to do ground-based assaults on hives in Japan, who has access to cutting-edge, super dangerous, super sketchy, and very secretive technology. The same technology that was used in the railgun, but what if you were starting to apply that to TSS? What if someone who was designing and working on the Susanoo, you know, essentially a super amazing, like self-contained army TSF, were developing smaller modulars that would be used in normal TSFs to make them really, really, really powerful? Because then if you had like a miniature Susanoo that could guard the actual Susanoo into battle, you could conceivably have like 1 or 2 squads escort a Susanoo into a hive, destroy the hive, and be able to get out without having to just self-destruct. That would be insane, but really cool. They like the idea of having those, what do they call them? I've been watching too much like 40K. I wanted to call it Geller Fields, but that's not what it is. That's 40K. The 0G or the 0... I know... 0 point. I think it was called 0 points, like energy barrier, which was the what can bend the light, which refracts lasers and even can like tear up any beta to get too close.
ですが、知らぬ2型がビエルクトに劣るという結果が出ようものなら、フェーズ3への回収自体が夢物語で終わる可能性が高まります。
今回の比較演習は、君の安全を担保するためにエイジが譲歩した結果、つまり茶番だよ。日本が本気でソ連機を導入するとでも？
Oh, it's a concession to guarantee her safety. So the Japanese are playing politics with the Soviets with no intention of adopting the Barkut. Man, do they really have this much information? What am I talking about? Yoroi. Secret Agent Yoroi. He's in there. Of course he knows. He knows everything.
確かに当面はないでしょう。ですが、国粋主義を標榜しながらも、反米のためにソ連に接近しようとする勢力にとって、その結果が持つ意味は、決して小さくはありません。
So, Heinemann doesn't think that that's actually a reality, but she's saying that there is an undercurrent that might actually use this to gain ground.
知らぬ2型が、試作機のまま役割を終えることになる可能性が非常に高まります。フェーズ3を温存した挙句、そのような結果に至るのであれば、今ここで投入するべきです。背景事情やその真実がどうあれ、比較演習の結果は残り続けます。無思考なものほど、具体的な数字に強く影響を受け、その意味を問おうとはしません。
So she is worried that despite the fact that this whole plan from the beginning was very heavily influenced and guided, despite its appearance of like just a basic study. Like they really thought this through and likely had already done preliminary tests in Japan before they even approached the idea. So she's saying like, look, like while it seemed a foregone conclusion that the Shira no Yusaken program was going to be adopted in some form or another, now there is genuine potential doubt and maybe we should step up our procedures.
茶番であるならなおのこと。汚点を残すべきではありません。
なるほど。君が94セカンドを大切に思っていることは分かったよ。だがそれでも私は反対だ。君はフェーズ3への回収計画が具体的にどんなものかまでは知らないはずだ。そのような単純な話ではないんだ。
Yeah, and there'd be no way we could keep it secret when we're currently sharing a hangar. Like something would be like observed.
確かに存じません。私が受けた命は XFJ 計画を完遂し、次への布石として岩や中佐にお戻しすることです。
それなら君はよくやった。胸を張ってエイジに94セカンドを渡しなさい。どうしたんだね？
それだけでは不十分なのです。
どういう意味かな？
私はここに赴任し、我が国の将来を憂う岩や中佐の思いを身をもって感じ取りました。
Interesting. So he says that, like, win or loss, like, the program's going to deliver what it's going to deliver. There are powerful forces within the Empire who are quite content with the way things are. But she's concerned that things have shaken up enough that that might not be as set in stone as would be really necessary.
知らぬ新潟は、中佐の思いと、私の思いと経験。それを強烈に知らしめる存在でなければなりません。
That's dangerous, though. She's making it so personal. I worry that she is starting to be clouded. She's been very, very good at keeping focused and keeping her eye on the prize, but she might be letting things get a little personal here. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it could become problematic. If she stops being objective, she could start risking things. And remember, this is the same drive that kind of motivated her to bring out the railgun to Kamchatka, which was fantastic, but then look at the disaster that it ended with. Like, with the beta attack and its destruction.
それは言葉では到底伝わらない。圧倒的な存在感、優位性。それを突きつけてこそなのです。それがなされない限り、XFJ 計画は成功とは言えません。率直に申せば、現状の知らぬ新潟では力不足です。
そういうのは嫌いじゃないが、今一つだね。
Yeah.
そのような話は初耳だよ。ブリッジス少尉の上申書に影響されただけではないのかい。
Yeah, I mean, he's got a point.
そうです。しかし、ユーヤ・ブリッジスの思いは、私の思いです。
高村中尉。
は。
共に仕事に携わり半年以上。君は非常に理性的な人間だが、それでは説明のできない行動を今まで2度とっている。
Heinemann, would you be suggesting that there's a common denominator with these lapses of judgment?
94セカンドにタイプ0で挑みかかったとき、レールガンをカムチャツカで使用すると決めたとき。
Yeah, interesting. Point 1, point 2, and now a new point 3, and they all have one thing in common.
出撃させるかどうかで揉めたこともあったかな。とにかく、そのいずれにもブリッジス少尉が関わっているね。それだけでなく、彼に対する思いがより強くなっている。
Heinemann barely sees them, and he knows. In fact, I'm pretty sure at this point, the only person on the entire planet who doesn't know about her feelings for Yuuya is Yuuya, because he's got that MC density with him.
そして今回、彼の思いが自分の思いだと言い切った。そこまで彼に肩入れする理由が気になるね。
He's got a point. Can you really say Yui's being objective here?
それは、ブリティッシュ少尉がメインテストパイロットで。
ならその役目はもうすぐ終わる。君がどう思おうが、94セカンドのフェーズ3回収計画は行われることも決まっている。 その暁には間違いなく日本国内における94セカンドの地位は不動のものになり、君の思いは成就するよ。
So he's still really confident that because of what Phase 3 entails and the promise it's going to bring to the table, he's 100% confident that regardless of the politicking that's going on, that it's going to win out. So for him, he's saying like, look, just let it happen the way it happens. Like, you push this issue, not only are you endangering your own project, but you're doing so with no real like timeline risk. Like, there's no real reason for that.
君以上に計画のすべてを知っている私が言うんだ。間違いはない。
I still don't like him, and I still don't 100% trust him, but I think he's made some really solid points here. Like, again, it's like, of course we're cheering for Yuuya, and we want the program to do really well, because, you know, we're super biased. We're in the corner of the pilots and the developer. Like, we're all here for it. But pure logic, I have to say he's got a very strong, like, position here, and I'm not sure if there's any way around it besides the whole heroic, I'll just do what I want to because I feel it in my heart, you know? Which, I mean, granted, that's fine, but it's not really a rational way to get places.
ブリッジス少尉をメインテストパイロットとして信頼しているなら、彼の回収要望は必ず帝国軍に引き継ぐと言えばいいじゃないか。
She looks very concerned here. Look at that worry.
君が思うのと同様に、彼も君を信頼しているのなら、その言葉を信じて満足してくれる。
It says, and you do indeed. I think it's supposed to say, and you indeed are of the same mind. I think do is added, or it's like, it's just one of those like little glitches that come across every once in a while.
それで十分じゃないのかね。
それは。
Yeah, I agree.
それは。
私は組織に縛られることがあまり好きではなくてね。ただ自分のやりたいことができるからそうしていると言ってもいいんだ。
He's like, I'm not one to have any loyalties. I just want to make big robots that fight stuff. I mean, come on, that's a mood I think we could all agree with. We all wish we could just, you know, like, we just want to do what we want, right? We just want to play games. I'd love to be able to do stuff like make YouTube videos and actually make a living doing it. Like, we just want to do what we want, and as long as we do a good job, that's all that matters, right?
会社の意向だなんだと言うが、やりたくもないことをそうは言わない。むしろ逆でね。会社を利用しているんだよ。
Yeah, I think if his genuine interest is just making cool TSFs that are effective, yeah, I think with his talent and his like genius, he literally is just playing the Boeing and other companies like a fiddle.
いや、私には軍隊なんて絶対に無理だね。
Same. Of course, not for his reason. His reasons is like he just can't be tamed. He just can't, like, he would never be able to deal with the restrictions that keep people focused, that keep people driven, and keep people like on the right track. He's got to have room to spread his wings, and that's good. Like, there are people who genuinely excel doing that at their pace. Most of us wouldn't, which is why most of us need structure, but he is an example of someone who does not and actually flourishes when given freedom to do so. But I also would have been awful for the military. Maybe in some kind of logistical role, but not in anything, not in any of the combative front seat, like action, heroic roles. No, I'd be worse than useless.
はい。
そんな人間に建前を語って響くと思うかな。
See, he's like, are you really going to use a nationalistic argument on someone like me? Because he's like, first of all, I have no loyalty to any business. I use them. They don't use me. Secondly, do you think I'd be super, like, invested in Japan? He's like, I'd be like, because he's an American, for one thing. For second of all, I doubt he cares that he's American. I think he just wants to do what he wants.
確か君は開発畑の人間なんだよね。
は、その通りです。
なら、ものづくりに必要なものは何だと思う？
Je ne sais quoi. The core.
即答はできないかい？
申し訳ありません。
What is the de facto of a TSF? What is the core of a TSF? Well, I would argue a pilot, but not the pilot, but like the actual mechanism itself. The core, it would have to be its form. That's what makes a TSF unique, is like it's the shape, the humanoid shape and the advantages it offers. So that's real core. That's what it that's what sets it apart from tanks and airplanes and all of that, is that it has the adaptability for various like the very quick responses for various terrains and various aspects.
それも仕方がないかもしれないね。答えは君にとって当然のことすぎて、必要性を検討する訴状にも乗らないんだろう。では、思い出してごらん。ここに来た直後の毎日を。君は何かを失っていなかったかね。命令や立場や建前でそれを補おうと必死ではなかったかね。
Ooh, okay. Is that her dad?
熱意、
Oh.
情熱。
そう、それだ。
He's saying, so essentially what makes TSFs work is ultimately passion, love. And I would argue too, like I was saying, like I think it's family, it's humanity. Like the motivation behind the TSF was a desperation of survival, of like doing whatever it took to keep humanity alive. Love.
XFJ 計画に懐疑的な目を向け、情熱はないのにあるふりをする。
Ooh, dang. It's calling her out.
日和見的で保守的、そして国粋主義思想を盲目的に良いものと信じる。エイジの危惧する日本の未来を体現したかのような、それが君だった。
He's super calling her out now. He's saying, like, look, being like ultra nationalist is exactly what they're afraid of. Which, I mean, granted, he's got a good point.
確かに、振り返ればお恥ずかしい限りです。
そんな君の本心に情熱の火を灯したのが、ユーヤ・ブリッジス少尉。
Ah, okay. That's true. Because that's the thing, is like, that boy is nothing but a ball of passion.
理性で説明のできない二度の行動。それはいずれも、君の彼に向けた情熱が取らせた行動だった。
You know, that actually also explains a lot about her infatuation with him. It's this idea that, like, everything before, her whole life has been duty, duty, duty. You know, live up to the legend, live up to your father, live up to the role you were born with. Remember all those who died along the way to get you where you are. Remember those who have to die every day on the front lines to keep your homeland safe, a homeland that you have to give everything you can. Despite everything you've had to throw away for it, you've got to keep fighting for it for every breath you take. That patriotism, that nationalism, which is not bad, but taken to an extreme when it becomes a defining feature, when you use it to excuse terrible things, terrible choices, or terrible attitudes, becomes dangerous, becomes volatile, becomes something that's more of a ball and chain rather than wings to set you free. It's a balance. There's something to be nature there. There's something about, like, you can have national pride and you can have a sense of duty to your country, whilst also not sacrificing your duty to the overall humanity, your compassion for other people, despite being from other nations and religions and cultures. Like, it's that combination that's beautiful, and like, you can't have just one or just the other. You can't sacrifice a love of culture and like world equality and destroy your identity, your heritage, and your nation. You can't say those are terrible things or run by terrible people unless they're not worth any of my time or consideration. That's like saying, like, you live in a democracy and saying, I don't want to vote because there's nobody I like. It's like, no, that's not how that works. Because if you just do that, then there's going to always be people you don't like. You got to get involved. You have to be able to stretch those muscles. You have to show that it's worth fighting for, because there are people who literally fought and died and gave everything they had to give you that right. And even if that's not something that you can do for whatever reason, like, there are freedoms that you enjoy. There's benefits. There's family. There's so much that is worth fighting for. In fact, humanity is worth fighting for. I don't care how terrible we tend to be, and like the awful things we do to each other, to the planet, and to all that. Like, I can look at all the dark and horrible things that happen in the world And you know what? I'll embrace it if it means I get to enjoy and be happy and proud of all the good things that are in the world, of love and art and community and space travel and science and all of these wonderful, incredible things that have been brought about before my lifetime and during my lifetime and that are in our future. I believe in a positive future, and I do think that push comes to shove, despite like the storm clouds and the darkness that comes and the terrible decisions that we allow, we're gonna come out on top in the end. I have to believe that, and I refuse to believe otherwise, even if all the evidence points to it. Somehow, some way, we're gonna make it okay, and we're gonna find a better way, and we're going to pull through. And despite whatever happens or what the future looks like, I still believe in us. And I think that that's the thing that's missing here out of this equation, that she got reawakened to. Yuuya brought that back. Yuuya gave her passion because he came in and trampled all over her like self-righteous feelings that had been essentially, you almost could feel like programmed into her, and reawoke something that she genuinely could feel. And so her infatuation, I think it's real, and I think it's for Yuuya, but I also think it's in spite of him. That it could have been anybody that got her fired up, that got her going, and she likely would feel a very strong connection with that person, whoever it is. It just happens to be that Yuuya has other qualities that she likes as well. Put that all together, and you have a recipe for true love.
では今回はどうなのか。
同じです。
おお。
私は彼が知らぬ新潟にかける強い思いを何としても成就させてやりたいのです。ひいてはそれが必ずや日本に良い結果をもたらすと信じています。いえ、私がそうさせます。
いいね。そういうのは好きだよ。
At least she's being honest.
そう。私は自分の情熱のみで生きてきた人間なんだ。本気でやるのかどうか。必要なのはそれだけだよ。
Say the words. Swear the ideals. Life before death, journey before destination. Strength before weakness, journey before destination. That's it. I forgot the middle part.
はい。
君の思いは分かった。94セカンドフェーズ3の最終計画を前倒しして行おう。
Genuinely, I'm surprised.
ありがとうございます。
ただし、相応の覚悟は負ってもらう。何を求められるかは、その時にならなければわからない。それでもいいかな?
Ooh, I wonder if he's worried that another attempt on her life will be made after this.
はい。
どうして私がこんな役をね。
申し訳ありません。
こういうのは、やはり、エイジの担当なんだ。
よろしいですか?
Yeah, maybe it turns out that deep inside, he's just a romantic. Like, not in the like, oh, lovey-dovey romance. I think he just likes romantic, empathetic type of decisions that, like, sometimes following your heart is the right call, even if there's no logic to it at all. And that's like, that can be enough.
何かな?
ハイネマンさんは、先ほどから時折、岩や中佐をエイジとお呼びになりますが、お二人はどういった?
She probably assumed at first it was just because he's American, because that's very American to refer to people by first name, not last name. So given name, not family name. But she's implying, she was like, well, wait, was there more to it than that?
かれこれ、もう25年の間柄だよ。私たちは、あけぼの計画で出会ったんだ。
あけぼの計画?
Isn't that her father's work?
そう。1976年から79年まで、アメリカが日本の技術研修チーム219人を受け入れた話は知ってるね。
はい。国産機開発に先立つ国家技術研修プログラムです。では、
私たちのチームに配属されてきた日本人。その中にエイジがいたんだよ。
Okay.
それから、君のお父さん。正忠もね。
Thought so.
では、ハイネマンさんは、私が高村正忠の娘とご存知で。
結果的には、そういうことになるね。
そうでしたか。岩や中佐と父が渡米したのは聞いていましたが、ハイネマンさんとお知り合いだったとは。中佐も人が悪い、 先に言ってくれればよかったのに。
I don't know. Maybe he worried it would complicate things too much.
少し昔話を聞いてもらいましょうか。
はい。
古い話だよ。そう。遥か遠くの記憶だ。
Oh.
はい。まあ、お茶の替えはもういいよ。注意は戻ったから。約束は果たしたことになるのかな。ひどいじゃないか、エイジ。やはりこれは君の役割だよ。
So we're not privy to it yet. I thought we were going to actually walk down memory lane with them, but no, she just, like, he told his story and she left, so maybe she'll tell it to Yuuya or something.
あら、注意。今から休憩ですか？なら一緒に昼食でも。
Yeah, she's heard something.
どうしたの？ユイ。話、聞くわよ。なんでもない。なんでも。94セカンドに関すること？それとも、なんでもないんだ、ブレーメル少尉。私は、なんでもないんだ。じゃあ聞かないわ。その代わり。
Oh. No. No, no, no. Okay. I had a horrible thought. There's no way they would do that, though. Oh, no. There's no way. No way. I had this horrific thought just now of, like, so her dad was working in the United States for a while, right? It also could have been Iwaya, but picture this horrific scene of her dad working with Heinemann and others in the States. They're there for a while. He's doing his own thing. He ends up falling in love with a local girl. They get together. They start a family. But then the mainland gets attacked. And he has a duty to go back. And he goes back and dies on the battlefield. What if he had been cheating on his family while he was away, and Yuuya was his son, and they were actually siblings? How horrible, how horrific would that be? Oh my gosh. I don't think that could be it, but oh, that would be horrific. That would be terrible. Oh no, I hate that I even thought of that as a possibility. Aww. Dang, she needed a hug though.
泣きたいときは無理しないで。
Aww. Aww.
甘えてはいけない。甘えては。私は覚悟を負ったのに。
It must have been bad, whatever it was. Not bad, it could have been good, but like bad isn't like really rough.
甘えなんかじゃないわ。みんな助け合っているだけよ。戦友だもの。あなただけが我慢する必要はないのよ。ユイ。
This says whale. Oh man.
当時、
Oh, we get
私
it
は
now.
グラナンでトムキャットの基礎開発に従事していてね。そこに正忠とエイジら、あけぼの計画の開発部隊がやってきたんだ。私は第二世代機の幕開けを切り開く。そう意気込んでいたんだけどね。あけぼの計画への協力を優先すべしという社名でね。一時的とはいえ、最先端の開発から引き離されることになったわけだからね。 いやー、二人を、日本を恨んだね。私の仕事を邪魔するつもりかと。だから世話は部下に任せて、ろくに顔も合わせず、随分と長いこと放置していた。
そうだったのですか。
うん。そんな時に部下から相談を受けてね。日本人がしつこく質問してきて困る。なんとか対応してくれという苦情だった。上司に告げ口をされると好きにできなくなると思ってね。仕方なく日本人たちのところに行ってみたら、待っていたとばかりに捕まって質問攻めさ。後で振り返って気づいたよ。あれは私を引っ張り出すために取った正忠の作戦だったんだろうってね。
That's true. If you know someone's really passionate about their field, all you gotta do is ask earnest questions and genuinely want to learn. You'll have them. You'll have them in the palm of your hand.
正忠は柔らかい雰囲気を漂わせていたが、その実、厄介な男だったな。
はあ、父がそんな。
彼らは貪欲だった。情熱に溢れていて疑問を持つと、それが解消されるまではいつまでも食らいついてきた。もともと私は他人に説明するのが面倒なたちでね。できるだけ早く切り上げるつもりだったのだが。
So you wanted to get out of there, they kept asking questions, delicate balance.
気づいたら8時間も会話をしていたよ。最後まで一緒にいたのは、私と正忠と英二。それと、正忠にしつこくされて困っていると言っていた部下だけだった。あの日から、すべてが始まったんだな。
そうだったのですか。父は、なぜか昔話をあまりしてはくれませんでしたので。当時と変わらぬ遊戯に、父もあの世で喜んでいると思います。存命であれば、きっとハイネマンさんと同様に、昔を懐かしく思い出すでしょう。
I'm really starting to worry I might have been right. Oh no, please. I really don't want that to be what happened. I really don't. That'd be so bad.
正忠は、アメリカ軍にはないとびっきりユニークな着眼点を持っていてね。私にはそれが非常に良い刺激になった。
Good.
何せ戦術機で近接格闘戦闘をしようなんて考える人間はアメリカにはいなかったからね。
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It would have been a foreign concept to a lot of the the American dogma of combat that evolved after World War II.
そうでしょうね。私とブリッジ少尉も最初はそれで揉めていたようなものですから。
奇遇だね。正忠とはいろいろな話をしたよ。74式近接戦闘超等を説明してもらった時には鳥肌が立ったね。
He's like, whoa, that sounds cool.
超等だけのバランスにとらわれてはいけない。うまく使用するためには、機体軸全体に対する重量バランスが肝要。
It's interesting.
彼はそう言っていた。
Because your first thought would be to approach sword crafting with a similar philosophy as a person, which is like the balance of the blade is critical. But with a TSF, with such a big machine with long pieces of metal and just so much weight moving around, it matters more the hands of the TSF than like the person. Which I'd argue normal swords are the same way, but you probably can't approach it like you would a sword's construction, like a typical sword.
英士兼技術者というのはなかなかいないからね。本当に彼の見解は私を刺激してくれた。第二世代戦術機はバランスを崩すことで機動性を確保すべきだと私は主張していたのだが、その正しさを違ったところから彼が裏付けてくれた気がしたよ。
Dang, that's actually kind of scary. I talked about before how I love the Armored Core games. The new one's fantastic, but I still like really just I have such fond memories of 4 because that was my first one and just how amazing it was as an experience. And I do remember, I've mentioned it before, But the idea was that you could truly customize it. Like, you could get into nitty gritties and really work on things from like the parts that you use down to like the balance. Like, you could add little frills and little weights and counterweights in order to like change it up. And I remember that my particular build, which is still one I tried to emulate in 6 with varying degrees of success, was a medium frame, but with a massive core. Like, I had the energy core of what would be like the largest like TSFs. What am I talking about? The largest armored cores. So it was a heavy son of a gun, and its frame was ill-befitting of it. And so the reason I did that is because I loved having excess energy. It allowed for incredible mobility. In fact, without firing energy-based weapons, you essentially could move on your jet engines indefinitely in the game. And if you like flying, hovering across the ground, just nothing could stop you. But then it also made sense to give it high-powered energy weapons, because in tandem you could have constant fire with the energy weapons and be moving around, and you could stay fully mobile in the air for minutes at a time. But occasionally you'd have to land and recharge a bit, and that was when you're at your weakest point. And I noticed that was when I was at my weakest. One of the biggest things I would usually have to do, because I was normally putting on so much pressure, it usually had my opponents on the back end, like backpedaling. So usually I would suddenly lose a lot of ground, and they would recognize that. And so I was like, I need to get as much speed up as possible when I'm on the ground, because the recharge was usually pretty quick, like maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds. But I wanted to maintain the best distance I could. So I purposely built it with these heavy weights in the front, making it horrifically forward overbalanced. But that's because it would allow my mech, which is way heavier than it looked, to move in a forward direction. Like, it would almost like stumble forward, but it would give it extra speed moving in a straight direction. And usually that would give me enough room to keep pressure on until I had my engines back and I could truly fly. And it's such a bizarre design, and it's so like limiting, and it makes no sense until you take in that full picture. And so it's really fun to hear him say like, oh, I intentionally wanted to make an unbalanced TSF because it would help with mobility. That's exactly the same issue I ran into with my armored core. It's like really fun to have that personal tie-in there.
そうだったんですか。
私と私の部下と正忠とで議論を戦わせ、エイジがそれを戦術機で実証する。エイジは豪快に文句を言いながら戦術機に登場していたな。
It's like, how am I supposed to learn to fly one of these things if you keep changing it?
エイジもまた気のいい男だった。最近じゃ随分と厳しい顔つきになったみたいだけどね。
進路をおかけしてしまっている立場としては、返答しにくい話題です。
本当に楽しい日々だった。アメリカという多民族国家に育ったとはいえ、私が本物の異文化交流したのは、あの時が初めてだったとも言える。私の部下は南部出身でね、日本人に対し、それなりに偏見を持っていたようだった。
Yeah, subordinate from the South, was that Yuuya's mom? I know that her family was involved in TSF development and the military, but I never got the impression that she was. But what if she was? Oh no, I don't like this.
お互いに対する誤解は大きく、随分揉めていたのをよく覚えているよ。だが、それが解消されるまで、それほど時間はかからなかった。
Oh boy.
正忠と部下は、伝統ある家に育ったというのが共通していてね。
Oh no.
一度理解し始めると、あとは早かった。
Oh no.
我々は人種を超え、職責を超えて計画遂行のために全力を投入し合った。
Oh no.
結局、ほぼ3年、私は計画に関与していたよ。
充実した日々だったんでしょうね。
そうだね。言い忘れたけど、私の日本語の先生は正忠なんだよ。
I wish I could learn. I want to so bad.
そうだったんですか?
By the way, I try. I do what I can, but I'm really bad at just self-teaching. I try and gather what I can. I practice my letters like off and on as much as I can, but it's just so hard on my own. I really wish I could like. I need to get in classes. I just need to figure out how to get it to happen.
彼らには感謝している。私は友人の多いたちではないが、彼らといて本当に楽しかった。最後の一年を除けばね。
何かあったのですか？
ある日突然、私の部下が姿を消してね。彼女は郵送で辞表を送りつけると、職場に戻ることはなかった。
Oh no.
皆驚いた。無論私も正忠もね。なぜなら、彼女は私の部下の中では最も優秀で、将来を嘱望されていた。
Did he never even know? Oh gosh, was I right? But he never even knew? Holy crap. Oh, that's even worse! I thought mine was a worst case scenario, but it might not be. Oh no.
それに彼女は軍事機密に関与していたからね。辞めるにしても、いろいろと手続きを踏んでもらわなければいけなかったんだよ。
Oh no.
本当に驚いたよ。MIT を卒業したサイエンが、そんな非論理的な行動をとったことに。
でしょうね。
Oh no.
社だけではない。軍に、FBI に、CIA、あらゆる機関が彼女の行方を追っていた。そして、正忠も個人的に資金を投入して行方を追っていたんだ。
父が、ですか。
だが、誰も彼女を見つけることはできなかった。
Oh no.
そして、あけぼの計画のスケジュールが終盤に差し掛かった頃、今度は正忠に帰国命令が下った。
Oh crap, it all fits. Oh no.
残された期間は長くはなかったとはいえ、計画の中心人物の帰国だからね。結果、私にとってのあけぼの計画は非常に締まりが悪いものになってしまったよ。
そうでしたか。
And the investigator who knew his mom. Oh no! Oh no!
それから彼女の行方が判明したのは、正忠が帰国してしばらく経ってからのことだった。
Crap!
私もそれなりの要職にあったのでね、独自のつてをたどり、いろいろ調べ続けていたのさ。
Fetch me, fetch me! I hate it!
結局、彼女は南部の聖火に囲われていたよ。
Her family home in the south.
いや、死んだお袋が言ってたんだ。それが日本人の美徳の一つだってな。
Oh man!
そうか。母様が。
ユイの肉じゃがな。
It reminds me of my mom's! Oh no!
お袋が作る肉じゃがと。
Fetch
me! No!
彼女は大富豪といって差し障りのない名家の末娘だね。父親は政治的な影響力も相当なものだ。
Oh no!
私は休暇を取り、彼女の生家を訪ねた。広大な敷地の片隅に、彼女たちのために建てられた家で、数年ぶりに再会したんだ。
Fetch!
彼女たち。
そして、すべてを理解した。彼女はね、生まれたての赤ん坊を抱いていた。
No!
衝撃だったね。でも同時に納得もいった。その瞬間、私はすべてを理解したよ。
では、まさか。
下船な言葉にすればスキャンダルというのかな。アメリカは労せずして 将軍家に近しい人物の人質を手に入れたようなものだからね。
Holy crap.
父様が、母様以外の。
不代とはいえ、主家は将軍選定に多大な影響力を持つ御設家、高塚さん。代々御用兵器の開発と生産に携わり、帝都城三代も許されるほどの名門。
Heinemann. No! He brought him to the program! He specifically scouted him out! I always thought it was just because he was good. It's not. It was personal. He wanted him on this project whom he knew Yuuya was a part of. He wanted to bring them together, maybe to do justice for his old friend. But you fool! How could... Oh, no. It's actually really good. He's bringing this up, because, oh, no.
確か、そうだったよね。
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
部下の産んだ子は男の子でね。
He's not gonna stop. He's not gonna give her time to breathe. She's like, holy crap.
私の部下、ミラ・ブリッジス。
they're siblings!
ブリッジス。
ミラ・ブリッジスは、正忠と恋に落ち。
Yeah. Fetch me.
じゃあ、ユーヤ、ブリッジスは。
I hate this. I hate this!
そうだ。ユーヤ・ブリッジスは、君の異母兄弟。つまり、お兄さんなんだよ。
And he didn't even know! I can't even be mad at him for, like, abandoning her. He didn't even know! I just assumed that Yuuya was abandoned because that's the story that his grandpa always said, but, like, she never told him how it happened. She couldn't. She was hiding who he was.
彼女は、正忠に迷惑をかけないようにするため、
Fetch
自身
me.
の解任を知ると同時に姿を消した。
Oh my gosh.
そういう
そうだ、
Fetch.
そうだ、
No.
そうだ。嘘です。そのような話、到底信じられません。
恥ずかしい話だが、あの時の私も混乱していてね。その子を捨てて、自分の人生をやり直せとね。協力はいくらでもするからと。
But she loved him.
だが彼女は強情だった。彼女は何としてでも、正忠との間の子を、ユーヤ・ブリッジスを立派に育て上げると宣言した。
It's so not fair.
私には、その選択を愚かだと言い切ることはできなかった。これを見てもらえるかな？私たちはこうなってしまったから、せめてこの子には希望を託して。ユーヤ・ブリッジス。ユーヤ・ブリッジス。これが彼が母親から与えられた正式な名前だよ。
What? What does it mean?
願いを込めた大切な名前だとミラは
Oh
言
my
っていた。
gosh.
ユーの文字には人を助けるという意味があり、矢には
To help all.
端から端まで広きにわたってという意味があり、
To help everyone.
合わせるとあまねく助く。多くの人々を助けるという意味だと。
Dang. To name someone. I mean, it sounds beautiful, but what a burden to put on someone who's just a child.
つまり国家の壁にとらわれず、多くの人々を助けるような人になってほしい。
Fetch me. Oh
そ
my
のような
gosh.
願いが込められている。ミラはそう語っていた。正忠の名前から一字もらって名付けたとね。
Oh no. She's like, fetch me.
お互いの立場を考慮した結果、関係を破棄せざるを得なかった女性が、愛息子に理想を託してつけた名前だったんだ。不思議なものだね。 正忠の名はアメリカと日本の二つに分かたれて、今なお輝きを放っている。
I feel like
君と
I
ブ
shouldn't
リッジス少尉の中で。
I shouldn't have played this when I was sick. I'm feeling genuinely ill.
ミラはいろいろ苦労したようだよ。ひっそりと優也を産み、育てようとしていた矢先に父親に見つかって実家に連れ戻され。
And if he was a staunch traditionalist, evangelical traditionalist, out of wedlock pregnancy would be one of the worst things that could happen to the family name. Especially because in traditions of America, of course, I think it's everywhere, but like the idea of carrying on the male line and the family name, it matters to a traditional family like that, especially. And if she was also the oldest child or only child, it would be seen as a stain on the whole family.
日本人差別の強い土地だから、周囲から罵倒され、家の面汚しと家族からも疎まれ。
Oh my gosh. Why do I always call these things just as the hammer was coming down? It's like someone's coming behind me with a hammer, and I'm just like sitting there, so like, it'd be really awkward if someone attacked me with a hammer right now. Just like it's like I could feel it coming in my bones.
話は変わるが、貴様は日系人だな、ブリッジ少尉。
Oh yeah.
はい、注意殿。
Oh my gosh.
それが、
同じ血を
They
受
have
け
the
継ぐ
same
者たち
hair.
と
Oh my gosh.
貴様のそのいじけ切った精神は不愉快であり、不憫。
If you cut her hair to be short like his, it's the same color and almost like natural style. Oh my gosh. It looks so stupidly obvious now.
なんだと。
何があったのかは知らぬが、甘えるのもいい加減にしろ。貴様は日本人の面汚しだ。
申し訳ありませんでした。注意。ご期待に添えなくて悪いんですが、注意がご指摘の態度や性格こそ、俺の最も日本人的な部分なんですよ。
Because he views his dad, your dad. God, that's as someone who up and left and abandoned her. He never even knew, though. He would have taken care of her if he'd known, but he couldn't. He didn't.
人馬一体という言葉を知っているか？帝国軍の英士は誰もが自然にそれを実践している。
人馬一体。
日米両国の橋渡しや高い技能以前に、英士にとって最も重要なのは機体を信頼することだ。それを忘れるな。
で、それが何だって言うんですか？
やはり貴様には荷が重いのかもしれんな。
何事もお家大事。任務第一か。まるで親父だ。
今のは、高村中尉の服務姿勢に対する比喩か？
あ？
それとも、貴様の父親が、
Oh no.
高村中尉に似た性格だったということか？
あ。
どちらにせよ、貴様の日本人嫌いと関係ありそうだな。父親と何かあったのか？
俺の親父は日本人なんだよ。会ったこともないけどな。お家が大事とか任務第一とか、本当に親父が言ったのかどうかはわからない。じいさんがそんな風に言ってたんだよ。
My grandfather mentioned something along those lines. Family's important, but duty comes first.
ならばなぜ直接尋ねなかった？そばにいたんだろう。
じいさんは日本人が大嫌いだった。その血を引く俺のこともな。疎まる。
Fetch me!
耳に届く音は罵声だけ。それが俺の日常だった。じいさんに事実を聞くなんて、殺してくれと言ってるようなもんさ。
概要は理解した。結局貴様は自分と母親を捨てた父親に 軽蔑や憎しみのような感情を抱いているということだな。違うのか？
ああ、そうだ。俺の親父は最低のクズ野郎だ。
Oh, the juxtaposition!
あいつが全ての元凶だよ。
He was her hero, and he was his pariah. Fetch me!
父は、
ん？
父は、そのことを知っていたのでしょうか。ユウヤのことを。
いや、ミラは自分が身ごもったことを正忠に告げていないと言っていたから、全く知らないだろう。帰国してからの正忠には、ミラと連絡を取る方法はなかったと、エイジも言っているしね。
おじさま、いえ、岩谷中佐は、このことを。
私よりエイジの方が人間関係には疎いようだ。彼は正忠とミラの関係の正確なところを把握していた。
So he saw it happening. Like he recognized what was going on.
帰国後も人を使ってミラの捜索を続けていたことが周囲に漏れ、正忠は清掃に巻き込まれたと聞いているよ。
Oh no.
あの後の正忠はアメリカの知人に連絡を取ることはなかった。そして私も正忠に連絡を取ることはなかった。
I wonder if they suspected they refused to let him contact.
そんな。
許してほしい。私は彼女のミラの決断を尊重してやりたかったんだ。
そうです
Bitch.
か。
Holy crap.
ユウヤが、私の。
Oh. What do you even do with that? We're like a Luke Leia situation, but it's so much worse.
父の、高村の。
君が XFJ 計画を本気で成功させたいという気持ちはよくわかっている。
Oh my
そして
gosh.
その覚悟があるとも言っていたね。でも、もう一度尋ねるよ。彼のために94セカンドをフェーズ3に回収する計画を進めてもいいのかな？
With the context now.
よろしくお願いします。
では、この話、あとはこちらで。改めて連絡しますよ。
Fetch.
見せていただきますよ。君の覚悟を。人はね、誰もが胸の底に重いものを抱えている。今回の件は、あの日と同じように、
You freaking better.
私の胸の内に収めておきます。
You better.
それはそれで、また長く苦しいんだけどね。
夜か。
What on earth are you supposed to do about that?
すべて夢であってほしかった。
What on earth do you even do with that? Like, what do you do? Like, you can't just make those feelings go away now that you know that there's very, very much wrongness about those feelings, that there shouldn't be any fruition of that. But, like, you can't just pretend that that never happened. You can't just wish it away knowing what you know. But then, like, what do? Do you tell him? What is he gonna think? What does that do, or what does that mean for your feelings? Like, are they just doomed forever? Are we in a situation, like, I don't know, what's the deal culturally with that in Japan, especially in this timeline, with the Shogun family being so, the royal family being so, like, you know, intermingled already? Maybe it wouldn't technically be as much of a problem, but then again, it's also really bad for the empire, and they might see it even more of a pariah issue than before. Like, the idea of her being with, like, a common American was bad enough, but now it's like a common American who's a scion of the royal family bloodline that shouldn't have actually existed to begin with. Good grief. Ah. And then it shatters this whole ideal that she has for her father, someone who she's idolized, who literally gave his life for her and the rest of her nation. And it takes everything she's idolized about him and just shattered it, because despite the fact that he probably couldn't have known, she can't help but look at the pain that his absence caused for Yuuya and his entire life. And like you can't just reconcile that. Like, it's something horrible that your father did, that you idolized, regardless of whether or not he could have done anything about it. Like, you can't just accept that fact. Like, you have to process that emotional like upheaval. It's freaking rough.
アルゴス招待は至急 C108 ブリーフィングルームに集合せよ。繰り返す。アルゴス招待は至急
What a freaking nightmare. It's so bad. It's so much bad. I can't believe it. I thought I had called the worst case scenario. Oh, I bet you were loving that one. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's so bad. Oh. Oh, that's awful. Can you imagine that actually happening? Can you imagine? Like, I've even heard of cases of people where, like people who meet up and date and fall in love and then realize through, like, some kind of genetic test or some kind of revelation, like, oh, we're, like, first cousins just from family that was estranged, and so we never talked to each other. Or we're, like, step siblings. Like I've heard of this actually happening, but people like literally got engaged to each other and then find out that they're half siblings. And what do you even do with that, you know? When you've like committed your life, when you've had relations and you've like you spend the rest of your life together, like what do you even do? It's like, what a freaking nightmare. It's so bad. Oh, what's Yuuya gonna think? He's such a simple, straightforward man. What is he gonna think when we tell him? We have to tell him, right? Like, he has to know. But, like, what's that gonna do to him? Fetch me. Anyway, we're done here, obviously. Like, I'm sure I already edited it, so it's clear that this is the ending. But this is the end of today's episode. I need to go lie down. Maybe I shouldn't have recorded today. Not this episode. I should have started with something nice and digestible. Fetch me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed watching me writhe in pain, jokingly throw out this horrific nightmare of a situation that it could have been, and then watch it, my whole soul crumble out of my body and die gasping on the ground as it actually came about, become reality in the worst way possible. Fetch. This story sucks. No, it's really good. It's really good. But it sucks. I hate alternative. Every time I feel like alternative's gonna turn around on me and do something great and give me a good ending, it's just like, you thought you could have fun? You thought you'd enjoy this? Suffer. So yeah, Muv-Luv does it again. And we'll have to just sit back and stew on this one. So thank you so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed being here. Thank you to the patrons and members who make it possible for me to continue to pursue this content. But regardless of that, just being here is plenty of support. Thank you so much for being here and for being able to help make this channel what it is. I appreciate you. Even missing 2 days of recording. Well, it's not 2 days. It was actually more than 2 days. But like missing 2 episodes of uploads, it just highly reinforces how much I love this. Like, I would love to make this a full-time job. I'd love to be able to make more content more often and to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. But frankly, I'm just in love with it. So I'm just happy to be here. So thanks for being a part of the dream and letting me be able to share this with you all. And until the next video, watch me have seen me next. I'll see you there.